Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and this is Keeping It Real, Budgeting and Debt. I am a 40-year-old woman making $100,000 a year working in healthcare, and I am working to pay off $40,000 in consumer debt. So I have been tracking my budgeting, I've been tracking my debt payoff plan and sharing it with you guys. And this community has been so wonderful, welcoming, and supportive. So thank you to everyone who is watching my updates. But in this video, we are going to be budgeting my first paycheck of May. So if that seems interesting, stick around. All right, I have my screen recording going so that I can do my split screen so you guys can see what I'm working with. I am a digital budgeter, so everything that I do for budgeting is either on a spreadsheet or in an application on my phone. I do have different accounts that I put money into as what I would consider sinking funds, and I do pull from those accounts when needed. So if we are looking at our starting balances. So my paycheck that is going to be paying for the beginning of May posted on 4/25. My salary was $2,642.82. And I did have a rollover of $454.44 from the previous paycheck. This is what I accounted for needing to be rolled over from the prior paycheck to be able to handle this next 2 weeks of expenses. Some of this rollover is also I sold my old laptop. I ended up selling it for $300. I kept $20 in cash for myself just to have in my wallet, and then I did deposit the additional $280, so that is also in this $454. So our total amount that we're going to be able to pay bills and have expenses for over the next 2 weeks is the $3,126. I always do pay myself first into my savings accounts, and I was thinking about also doing a video about retirement and how I have kind of buckled down with saving for retirement. Like I said, I am 40, so I don't want to work for the rest of my life. I would like to retire eventually, and I am not necessarily super behind, but I am behind in my savings. So if you guys would be interested, and I just might do it for myself to kind of see where I'm at now compared to maybe next year, but I want to do a video on retirement and what I have decided to do for myself. But for my savings, I did have $100 go into my money market account, $50 go into my high yield, $75 go into a tax account, $100 go into my Get Fit account, which is kind of my sinking funds account, and $30 went into Acorns. I do have my total balances over here. So my money market account has the 1,165. My high yield has 401. This high yield account is what I am dumping money into throughout the year to be able to make a very large payment on my personal loan and basically pay my personal loan off at the end of the year. That's what I'm using this high yield account for. I'm kind of using it as a holding account for that money. Tax account, my husband and I do not have any children, so we usually have to pay above and beyond our taxes at the end of the year, and so we are putting away money every paycheck to pay taxes. This will not even touch it, and so I will have to be very aware of where else I'm saving money, and then I'll have to bump up my contribution to this account next year. I did have an expense for a car repair or just a car service. And so because I do consider the Get Fit account to be my sinking funds, I did pull the amount of the car service out of this account. And so this is what our remainder is. And then I pulled up my Acorns this morning actually, and this is what we were sitting at. It was down last time, but the market has kind of bounced back up. So I do have the $958 in my Acorns account. I do put $12.50 per week into there, and then there is a $5 fee, which will come out of this paycheck. For our bills, I do have only a few. We do have a home warranty, which has come in amazing for like our AC unit, our water heater. We had some plumbing things. So I continue to pay into our home warranty. I have my student loan payment, my payment for my personal loan number 2. I am not making a payment towards Discover Card this period because I did make a $500 payment last week, which will cover this period. So I do not have to make make any additional payments. I have my personal loan number 1, which this is the one that I plan to pay off at the end of the year. My cell phone bill did go down. When I closed out that small IRA that I told you guys about in last video, I only owed about $230 left on my cell phone to pay off my cell phone. So I did go ahead and I just paid off my phone. So I own my phone outright, and I do not plan to get a new phone anytime soon. They are way too expensive. So my cell phone bill did go down. And then I am making a $159 payment to my credit union card. This is going to be my card that is going to basically be at a functional zero. So I am just making payments towards things that I am putting onto the card, revolving things that are going to be hitting that card. And then that is all of our bills, but it still equals $2,015.01. Going over to our expenses, I am going to end up splitting up a little bit of this. So we do have $150 for household, $57 for gas, $400 for groceries, and $37.50 for pets. I account for $10 towards taquitos, which is a nod to Caleb Hammer's financial audit, which is basically running into a convenience store to get some snacks. For my job, I do home visits, and so I do travel a lot. I actually had to do a trip where it was 2.5 hours each way, so I had to stop and fill up the car, and also I had to stop and get myself a cold drink because it is getting warm here in Florida. So I'm allowing myself $10 per paycheck, which I am pretty much maxed out there, so hopefully I don't need to stop in for anything else until next paycheck. And I don't have a budget for Amazon, and I'm actually going to be splitting this purchase up because some of these things were household items. So that's what I'm going to be doing with you guys today as well, is splitting up that Amazon purchase into the categories it belongs in. So if I'm looking at my month overall, we have $355 going to savings, the $2,015 going to bills. I have $645 budgeted for expenses, so we will see how we get there. I don't budget anything for miscellaneous, it's just whatever ends up falling into that category. So we have our total, my income, and the difference. So we do have about $550 that is available for us to spend up until next paycheck. But with this Amazon purchase, and let me pull up my phone because I'm going to pull up the email that has the purchase in it so that I can actually pull things out. No, I'm going to have to pull up my Amazon account. Goodness, on Amazon you have to go through 14 million screens just to get to see how much things cost. So one of the big purchases out of this Amazon was I had to buy a new water filter for our refrigerator. Every 6 months, the light comes on to tell us to renew or order a filter. So that was $42.99 for the filter. And so I think the rest of these I can kind of break up. So in household, that $42.99 is going to go in there. Now, I also needed to order myself a new heating pad. I necessarily don't have a huge back injury, but I do have back pain. So it is imperative that I have a heating pad, and mine broke. It quit working. So I did order myself a new one. I'm going to put that under medical because it is for my health and well-being. So if I have those amounts in there, I'm actually just going to add up the other items. So I spent $9.75 on some microwavable wax. I wax my own armpits, probably TMI, but that is what I do. So I did buy another container of wax, and then I bought, it would help if and then $5.99, I bought some toiletry items. So the $15.74 is what I'm going to actually put into here because everything else is going to be, no, not that amount. $15.74. That is going to be our actual amount for Amazon that doesn't fit into another category. So I feel a little bit better about that, about distributing some of this. So that keeps me mindful about only having $107 left for household. The car service, so we have a more sporty car that basically we drive it once a week, and so we don't put a lot of miles on it, but we enjoy having it. But I took it in for an oil change, and that oil change was $103. Blew my mind. I don't remember oil changes ever being that much, and I don't think because it's a sports car that it needs anything better or special or anything, but I think that that is just the going rate for oil changes. But since I did have to drive it about an hour or so away to get the oil change done, I had to fill it up, and so it cost me $50 to fill it up. This is why we hardly drive this car, because it takes premium, and it was $3.80 a gallon to put premium in this car. But it has a full tank, so that'll last us at least a couple months on that full tank, but that makes it to where I do not have a whole lot of money to be putting into gas in the vehicles. So my husband asked me if I wanted to go a couple towns over and look at a piece of property, and I said, well, if you're willing to put gas in the truck, I will go with you. So I am trying to stay firm with that. And with speaking of property, my husband and I would really love to buy a piece of property. And I told him that I am working on this debt payoff journey, and that in about a year, when I have one of my personal loans and all my credit cards paid off, that I would be able to hypothetically take over a mortgage on a piece of property for about $700 to $1,000 a month. I would be able to take that over. So right now, we are relying on his income to pay for a lot of these extra things because he is relatively debt-free. He makes about 1.5 times what I do, and so we do rely on his income for other things, but I would still like to be able to contribute to our future with buying a piece of property and being able to build our dream home, but this debt has to be gone, and so that really put the fire under my behind to get this debt paid off. But I have already spent $33 in groceries, so I only have $3.66 left. I think I'm going to go do the grocery shopping today, so I'll just have to be mindful. This is the week that I need to buy more meat and restock the freezer, so I have a feeling that is going to be a little bit higher of a bill on the groceries. And then we still have $37.50 for the animals. I have not spent anything on the dogs or the rabbit, so we have the whole amount left for that. And so going down here, I am keeping track of what is going on to my credit cards. So my Discover card is automatically linked to my Amazon, and I did use some of my cashback points from Discover towards the Amazon purchase. So I did put the $88.48. I will go ahead and I'll make this payment on next paycheck. I will have a little bit more buffer and wiggle room on next paycheck, so I'll pay this off. And then I ended up putting close to $500 on the credit union card. This is going to be my revolving card that I put purchases on. Whenever I make a purchase online, I do not put it on my debit card because if somebody ends up stealing my card number, they can empty my entire accounts. I'd rather have it on a credit card to where if I do have to dispute something, it's not tying up my actual liquid money that I need to buy groceries and pay my bills out of my account. So I did order a new rug for our dining room. That also got paid out of the IRA money that I ended up transferring over, so that was paid off. So I've made a payment of $922 towards this credit union card, again, to get it back down to that functional zero, but I've only put $493 on the card. So I am consistently going to keep this at a functional zero. And then I've not put anything onto the Capital One card, and I have no intention on putting anything onto that card. That one was my balance transfer card, and it's at 0% until January. My Discover card is 0% until November. So I also have that payoff plan for that card before that interest hits again. So that is my whole plan, and I do have my monthly set up. I'll have to put in my rollover amount, which I can actually, let's do a copy and paste so we have an accurate, we're just going to paste the value. And then this was actually 82 cents. I know sometimes my paycheck will fluctuate between the 82 cents and the 81 cents just to keep it even with my salary. So this was going to be our whole month. I'll probably have to update these balances for the savings as I go along. because of course I took some of the money from these accounts to pay for the oil change and pay for the new rug. I do have all of my bills for, and waste management is a zero because that is only quarterly. But I left it in there because I don't want to have to be like renewing or like reconfiguring this. Oh, I can put in my actual amount for my cell phone bill because it went down. So let's copy. And paste the new cell phone number. Oh goodness, it's going to make me reconfigure everything. Oh, I can transfer that over. We're doing, I think it's 159.02, because this will pay for my subscriptions. And then also, since I am doing my Canva premium, I went ahead and I signed up for the yearly subscription. So that is going to be posting on the 5th. So this is also paying that off again to keep that card at a functional zero. Everything else looks good. I don't know what my power bill is going to be yet, and so I'll have to wait for that one to come in, but it looks like we're hanging out about $3,100 for bills this month, and then I'll have to fill this in after I go grocery shopping. I'll put in my expenses and we'll be able to see, but I'm super excited about being able to put $900 away in savings this month, and that is what I'm trying to be really mindful of paying myself first. So with our debts, I think we're doing all right. Again, we're in the green down here from the payments that I've already made and looking at my purchases, and yeah, I'll have $16 left in a balance after the first paycheck, and so I'll be able to pay that off with the second paycheck of May, and then again, functional zero for that card, which feels really, really good. But I still don't like these numbers over here. I'll have to update my student loan number after the payment actually posts. With my personal loans, it actually breaks it down to where if I make my regular payments, it lets me know how much goes to principal and how much goes to interest. And so it tells me how much my balance will be after my regular payments. I'm not making an extra payment to my loans until August because I have a magic month in August. And so that's when I'll make a big chunk of a deposit into my loans as well. But at least this tells me how I'm doing. So I've been able to pay off quite a bit of the loans so far this year, but still my balances have only gone down by the $4,000. So still trying to be mindful of getting these down and getting these taken care of. And I think in July, I have a big payment towards my Discover card. I think coming up, I also have another big payment towards my Union card coming up. So I will be able to see these numbers start falling drastically over the summer. I'm really impatient for it because I want to see those numbers start falling now, but I have to trust the process and trust that I have done my budgeting correctly and that I'll be able to make those big payments towards these debts. But that is what we are looking like right now with our debt payoff tracker, with our budget for the first paycheck. And I'm happy to say that even though my budget does fluctuate from time to time, I am sticking to my savings goals, and I'm also sticking to my debt payoff goals. So sticking to those goals was the main reason that I wanted to do this channel and really buckle down even more on my budgeting. And oh, let me show you guys this one. It might be interesting to you. Let me get the spreadsheet pulled up and then I'll do a screen recording and I'll show you guys where we're at. So if you guys watched my spreadsheet video, which I will link it down below and up in the eye if I remember, but I will try to link those. But I went over how I am tracking all of my budget and how I am tracking certain categories. So I did update these this morning, and so I wanted to take a peek at these numbers. So medical, and this is for the year. So typically I want to see for the year what I'm doing and what % of my take-home pay these categories are taking up. So medical was only $311 so far. I do have a doctor's appointment in May that I think will be a $50 copay, so that will be going up a little bit. I have spent $613 on Amazon, but a lot of those are broken up into different categories, but I just wanted to be mindful about the total amount that is given to Amazon each year. For eating out, I've only spent $140, which is 0.20% of my income, which is wonderful. Car services, that was the oil change, but so far, and I'm going to knock on wood, that is the only car service we've had to do, but we do have another one of our vehicles that is a little bit older that needs additional service, so I actually need to call my mechanic and get a quote for that service to be done. I do have a category for treat yourself. This money does not come out of my budget. It doesn't come out of any other income. I do have separate income set aside for this amount here. I just am interested in tracking it. Then for business, I've spent $2,900. A lot of that is the new laptop that I bought, and that did account into a business expense. My husband and I are going to be working over the next couple months of opening an LLC, and so a lot of this will end up rolling into the LLC, and that way we'll be able to write off a lot of this because that is a big chunk of money to not be accounted for in taxes as an expense towards the business. And so we need to work on this. We need to actually sit down with somebody who can help guide us to the right way to set up the LLC that will work for us, because me and him do two different things on the side that we need to maybe combine into one LLC if we can. But that is my business expense. Now over here is one that I also pay attention to, because the $70,000 hopefully will be my take-home pay for the end of the year. And then all of these totals are rolling from all the months that I put in. So I did update April, and then this is all of my projected. So I have projected for December, $400 towards household, just because during the holidays there might be some extra expenses, $115 for gas, $800 for groceries, and $75 for dogs. So even my projected budget for each month is rolled into this total. So for the year, I am projected to use about $4,400 towards household, about $1,500 towards gas, close to $10,000 for groceries, and $2,300 for dogs. Which one of them is itching in the hallway? So hopefully my editing can drown that out. But this is my percentage of income that it'll go towards, and my monthly averages that everything will average out to. So I really am interested in tracking this throughout the year, and this was really helpful information that I tracked last year that helped me set up my budget for this year. But what I'm very happy about is that my budgeted amounts. So as I put in my amounts for my paycheck, I have this difference category. And this difference category is my budget amount. And that budget amount lets me know what this total is. So right now I am still $1,000 under budget. So if this number stays positive, that means that I did not overspend on my budget for the year. So this is what I really need to look at. So technically I could budget the $1,572 for the month, and right now I'm at $1,495. So I'm staying under. So this is what I'm really paying attention to, because I'm getting close. $1,000 buffer for the year is not a whole lot. So I do need to keep my eye on all of this. So I'm really excited that I've been able to stick to my goals of paying off debt on time with my debt schedule, and also continuing to save. Being able to pull that small IRA and cash it out really did help this past month. Like I said, we're getting ready for company to come and stay with us. So I've been picking up a few things here or there to make their stay more comfortable. We have not had any visitors probably in the past 7 years. So I am not used to hosting company. So definitely during that time when they're here, my grocery bill will go up. Probably my spending will go up. Like we'll take them out to eat and things like that. But if I can prepare for that now, then I won't be scrambling to try to find that money when they actually come to visit. So I'm very excited about that. I'm excited about continuing to pay off this debt and continuing to see my numbers drop. And I thank you guys so much for your support. For those of you who are subscribing and commenting, it means the world to me to have this supportive network here on YouTube of a bunch of wonderful people who are working on financial health. So I appreciate all of you who are being encouraging as well. And also, I appreciate everybody who puts their financial journey out there for the public to see, because without that community, I would not have felt comfortable enough to come on here and share mine. So I thank everybody who puts their financial and debt journey online as well. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off. It is house cleaning day, so I'm going to get back to cleaning. So I will catch you guys next week in my video where I am checking in on my budget. Bye.